안녕하세요, 여러분. 이름이 빙기입니다. 네. So, I'm not doing everything in Korean. I'm not even sure if that's correct. I know, so those who are Korean can go, wow, she sure tried. Still don't know the difference between ga, the subject, and the topic at times. That is so hard. And if you know about Korean, you know what I'm talking about. That comes with time. So yes, I am learning the Korean language. I do speak Spanish pretty darn well, learning French, and been learning Korean. I adore different languages, adore different cultures, travel quite a bit, so I am excited about this next series. Yes, so we are starting the new one. We just finished up Zoologist, and that was a crazy ride. Then we have another one coming up here soon. So you'll see that video after this one because it's coming. But that was a wild ride. So I decided to go with something a little bit different this time because I have so many ideas in my head. But with this one, it's a Korean American brand, and that is Elorea. Yes, Elorea. What's interesting is I do actually have a bottle of this. So I went to their store in New York City. This is going to be more of an introduction, and then we'll go on to the one that I know the most before I try the other ones. I did not try all the scents. There's one that I was interested in. I had very limited time. Went in, bought a fragrance, so I don't know all of these scents. Though I have sampled a few of them or smelled them in store, it was very quickly. So this is still very new to me, except for the first one we're going to talk about because this is going to be a longer video. So there you go. So Elorea, what's interesting is you can actually see in their logo their name in Hangul. So Hangul is the official language, or what the alphabet is basically called in Korea. And so you will see it, and I'll try to put it here as well. Not that you probably know how to read Hangul, but if you do, here, there you go. But it's right there, the name of their company. Elorea. Elorea. So that's what it would sound butchered in Korean. Elorea. Yeah. So that's what it would sound like if you didn't speak Korean with a great accent, like myself. Hey, so there you go. So this is what we are talking about today, and it is Hazy Blue. And the reason why I'm speaking about this one today is I've used it so many times. This is one of my favorites. Well, I don't know, but this is the one that really stood out to me, and the ones I smelled, the one I was most curious about, and I'm in love with it. So a little bit of history about the company. Now, I've heard varying things, that it was founded in 2020, and then 2021, it, arose. It was here. It was a Korean company, or Korean American based perfumery. And the reason why this was created was that the two owners, yes, I have notes, Wani Lee and Soo-min Park, they are a married couple. From my understanding, they both were born in Korea and then raised in the US, from my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong. I did quite a bit of research, but I am not perfect. And so Elorea basically was created because when the couple went back to Seoul and Korea, they would go to shop for perfumes. You'd go to a department store, much like you would here in the US, like a Nordstrom's or, whatever it may be, Bloomingdale's, whatever, Saks, anything like that. And it would be mostly French or American brands, maybe some other European brands. And they're like, but there really was nothing with a distinct Asian identity, or even specifically in their case, being that their background is Korean. And they were like, why is that? And so in a lot of ways, perfumes will come about based off of originally like your culture and what you had around you, and you would be able to build a profile with that. It's changed a little bit in more recent years. There's a lot of gourmands. Every culture has gourmands, but it depends what type of gourmands, because a gourmand in France is going to be very different than, let's say Vietnam or something. There's different resources around you and different traditional foods. So they basically were like, all right, we want to create something with a Korean culture. And so the couple decided that they were going to build Elorea. And, you know, they got the funding, and from my understanding, it was mostly Korean funding, because they wanted it to have a strong Korean background, because this is like the first real large launch. There are a few other Korean brands, but this one was kind of one of the ones in the forefront, going, hey, to make a big dent, hopefully here in the US. There's only 2 stores right now, and one, it started in New York, because the couple lives in New York City. I don't know if they do anymore. I think they spend their time between Seoul and here. And the one that started it all was in Soho, right, in New York City. And then they just opened up a store in LA. So I've seen the inside of that store. Wow. There's no space in New York City. It's all small, and you pay 5 times as much as you would elsewhere for this tiny, dinky showroom. And basically, it is a very small area if you have been to the New York Soho store. I thought it was more NoHo, but I guess it was Soho. So there you go. It's small, beautiful, exceptionally clean, well taken care of, gorgeous. The LA one was ridiculously huge. I'm like, wow. I saw that. It's just real estate, New York City. It's a mess in some ways, but there you go. But both stores are exceptionally beautiful, and you can go in and it just smells glorious when you walk in, because you're smelling all the different scents. Now, I don't know about the one in LA, but here in New York City, they wanted it to be more than just a perfumery, though the perfumery was the main way to get the company going, because the whole thing was that basically they wanted to use ingredients that were used mostly, not mostly, but used in Korea, and create very small batch perfume. So they do sell out quite a bit, but they will bring it back. But they have small batches, and they'll use in some of the collections more traditional flavors or things from food that are Korean based, or things that are very much Korean. Yes, so that was the purpose. And it's interesting because Elorea was also built with Wani Lee. He came to the US very young, and as a child he mentioned that he felt he didn't always belong in the US society, and he wanted to be an American boy in a lot of ways, or not Korean, which I think is sad. That's not the way that it should be, but I feel that with first generation, or people who are, even if they weren't born here, brought to this country at a very young age, that it could be very difficult to assimilate. Or do you even want to assimilate? Your parents may not, it's a pull. I only know this because my father was first generation, so I understand it. And so I found this to be a lovely story. This was basically his love letter, an apology to the Korean culture that he was at times embarrassed by when he was younger. And now he created this company with his wife as an apology, which any good mother and father knows that a child goes through phases, and they will always forgive you, and the Korean culture will as well. And I'm sure they are exceptionally proud of you. You will probably never see this, but you've done a great job, and you have done the Korean culture very proud. So beyond creating things that were very much Korean in their sense, and notes, they did something that's very Korean. If you've been to Korea, I have been to Korea, I've been to Seoul. It's it's a blast. It is. I have an obsession with it, and my obsession started with Korean dramas. I don't listen to K-pop. I'm not really into that type of music. I like more of their indie-based stuff, but wow. It's a blast. I loved Korean dramas. This was before they were big. I mean, I was a kid, basically, when I saw this, and I was like, this is what I love watching. And then I recently started wanting to learn the language more seriously. And it is a beautiful, interesting culture. Yes. So, very long intro, I know. But if you do go, also, they have a cafe there. They have a cafe. It's so Korean. It is. They have beautiful little cafes in Seoul with really delicious, beautiful drinks. They brought that aesthetic here. So in the New York store, it's exceptionally small. But if you go in the back and if you buy a bottle, you get a free drink. The drinks in themselves are very expensive, even for New York City standards. When you're charging $8 to $12, a Starbucks is ridiculous, but that's very expensive. but I think it's more of that boutique vibe, so you're going to pay those prices. I do think they're a bit much, but it's a nice treat every couple times a year, or when you buy a bottle, you can get a free drink. So I did, and I got Heaven, and it was fantastic. Highly recommend it. But yes, so that's Elorea. Big intro, I know, but we do that. So there you go. Woo! Take a breather. So there's 3 different collections, and within each of them there are 4, I think, different fragrances within that. So there's only 12 in this collection. This is going to be a lot shorter than Zoologist. We have a longer one coming up. So the first one we're going to start with is not the first collection that they had. This was actually, I think, their second. I may be wrong, but the first one was the Elements. But we're going to start with this one just because I have one of the perfumes here. And this is the Forgotten Words. So it's basically words from Korea that are no longer used. It's just times change. You don't need it any longer. It's like, or it just really doesn't have much to do with the more modern culture. And so words die out. But so what we're going to do is we are going to talk about the Forgotten Words. And let's look at this first before I look into that. You get a little voucher. So when you order the set, you will get a happy little voucher on top of it. And it takes, I think, I don't know, is it $30 off a perfume? I don't know. But you can then use that and get yourself a full perfume if you enjoy these. But this is what it looks like. Yes, really nice, really sleek, beautiful. Okay, so here we have Elorea. Yes, beautiful. The Forgotten Words. The collection is inspired by native Korean words that are rarely used in modern times. Each word is poetic and expressive, transportative to a moment, memory, or emotion. Through the collection, the beauty of these words lives on through scent, presenting a unique olfactory experience. Yes, please. So they have also Hazy Blue Extract perfume, and it comes with the blue top, and that one is actually supposed to be very much, it's stronger because some of these are exceptionally light, I've been told. I don't always find that to be the case, but we'll talk about it because I know Hazy Blue really well. Because this is an introduction and a longer video, I wanted to use one that I knew really well, so it would cut down on the time a bit. But Hazy Blue, or Ine, is what it would be called in Korea, has 2 scents. And there's one that is around $300, and that's the extract. One spray will do you. It is a lot stronger. I've smelled them both. I'm going to be honest with you. The one with the blue cap has more salt notes to it, so it's more of like an oceanic, aquatic scent compared to this one. I actually much prefer this one. When I spoke to the woman, she's like, oh, the people are so nice. Oh my gosh, they are so nice, the people there who will help you, the customer service. Oh, and the store is just glorious. And even the table and the way everything's set up represents different things from Korean culture, and you may not even get it, like from the flag or various, it's really cool. But the people are just so patient, so wonderful. Big thumbs up, amazing customer service. But the woman who was helping me basically mentioned that the one is one spray extract and done, but they did change the notes a little bit, which I didn't care for as much. I like the original better, but the other one's very nice. It's just a little bit more oceanic, which I didn't get from the original because it does have more salt accords. So for me, I was like, nah, I think I'm good, and went with the original. And I didn't really try this one to see how much longer it worked, just because I like the original. So there you go. There you go. So the Forgotten Words. If we look at Hazy Blue, here we go. It is just glorious. You can buy the 500 milliliter for $135, or the 100 for $210. So there you go. A lot of the time that makes more sense financially, but I know that's a lot of money to drop. So what's interesting is that they will then put things in Korean, and then in English. And that's great because eventually they're trying to bring this to Seoul. They're trying to bring this to Korea, which makes sense because I said oh, it's only in the US. I think, well, it's an Korean American company. And so they're trying to get it to Seoul. I think it would do quite well. But the inspiration behind hazy blue is the Korean word ine, which means the bluish hazy energy that is visible in the distance during sunset. And you've seen it. And I was just like, there is no word for that in English. I would just say it's dusk. But dusk doesn't represent that bluishness of when the sun's starting to go down. So I thought that was interesting that there was a word for that in the Korean culture. This mystical aromatic fragrance will make you feel calm, refreshed. It starts with crisp bergamot, cool ozone accord, then softens with delicate white floral, sandalwood, amber, and a touch of warmth for a smooth, dreamy finish. So you can tell, if you've watched my channel, you know these notes are exactly what I'm about. Top notes are bergamot, cool ozone accord. The heart is upcycled orange flower, lily of the valley, jasmine petals, like everything that I love. And then base is sandalwood, amber, and musk. Unisex, vegan, small batch. So of course, these are everything that I love. So it was no surprise. The hazy blue, or ine, is what I wanted. Absolutely not. As soon as I saw those notes, I was like, it's sold. I don't even need to smell this. I don't even need to use this because I don't. I have a big bottle here. So we will skip that and then try the other ones. But this is what it looks like. Really classy, and you pop it out and you can see I have used quite a lot. I am very familiar with hazy blue, or blue hazy, hazy blue. I switch them around sometimes. But ine, so exciting. Yeah, I've used this a lot. I know this scent already. I don't even need to open it to know this scent. Oh, but I'm going to, because you may not. Oh, I just can't. I love this one so much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it up from zoologist, 2 on the wrist and then 2 on the clothing. My goodness. Ooh, actually, I did not need to do that. And then we'll just do 1 because, wow, that was a lot. And there is that scent that I know and love. It is so calming. It is so beautiful. I love this. I love this so much. I love this so much. I know. I love this one. So this one is just gorgeous. I would probably, once I'm done with this, buy a bigger bottle. So the first notes that you're going to get are that ozone. That ozone smell. Just, it really is there. And it makes sense because they're talking about hazy blue. They're talking about that blue color before dusk, when the sun is going down. It captures that so beautifully with that ozone scent. I love it. I love everything about it. And then you get this beautiful floral. This beautiful floral. What's interesting is I've never smelled it up close. I've always smelled it on my clothing. I've never smelled it on my body chemistry. I just spray like 4 on me, sometimes 5 to really put it up there. And it has an interesting note to it. That's interesting. So I never really looked at the notes by themselves until recently. I did originally, but then I'm like, I don't care. It just smells good. I get a little bit of the musk and that lily of the valley. Oh, I love lily of the valley. Lily of the valley is fantastic. And so I definitely get that lily of the valley. Get that jasmine. I will say there is a little bit, and I never really noticed it before because, again, I never like went and sniffed on it that close. There is a little bit of saltiness of the ocean there. I do kind of get a little bit of that aquatic note. Though it's not listed, I do get a little bit of that. The difference is with the extract is that it definitely is more salty. This is not salty. There's a saltier scent to it, which is very much like ocean to me. Ocean water and lily of the valley, jasmine petals, sandalwood. I don't get bergamot too strong, and I know bergamot pretty well. It's actually not one of my favorites. It's not bad. It's just middling. But I think that mixed with the other, I do get a hint of it, but it isn't the main star of it. It's really the florals. It's the orange blossom water. The bergamot usually is so strong that it'll just boom, come out and hit a scent a little bit stronger. It doesn't with this. What I find interesting about this scent is though you can pull out the individual notes if you're looking for them, they are blended together so well that it's, when you're smelling as a whole, they're like this. So pulling out the individual scents, you're not going to get that as much. The one that you do the most is the ozone. If you do not like ozone, ozone notes, and some people don't, you won't like this. I'm just going to flat out say, try this, smell this first. Go in and try it. Get the sample scent. See if you like it. Because it's very much present. And even though it's the top note, I feel like it never goes away. You know, sometimes the top notes will drift faster so you can get to those mid and bass notes. For me, the ozone, maybe my body loves the ozone, which, thank you. Yeah, it's there. And it lasts a long time. And it stays the full time. I'm always very much aware of the lily, jasmine, and the ozone notes. But it's very interesting because when I do smell it, I do get more of an ocean scent or an aquatic scent on my wrist than I do on my clothing. But let's try it on the clothing. Interesting. On my shirt, there is more of a floral. So it's that ozone floral scent. So my body's picking up that more aquatic note. Yeah, it's definitely getting stronger. I never even noticed that. So this is actually an adventure for me. Wow. Yeah, it's very much an aquatic note. And that's why I was kind of surprised when I smelled the extract. I was like, this isn't in the original. It is on my clothing. It most definitely is ozone and floral. Wow. Okay. So that's where most of it is I usually spray this on my clothing to make it last longer. And I'll also put it in my hair. Woo. I will. I'll do a spray in my hair. And like the next day, I'll still smell it there. I'll wake up and because I have long hair, it'll fall into my face. And I'm like, ooh, I smell good. Ooh. It smells fantastic. Just know that these aren't going to be like bold. These aren't meant to be that. These are meant to be very light. These are perfect for year round. I see myself wearing them mostly in spring and in summer. That's what this collection, I haven't smelled them all, but that's what this represents to me. So I've been using this to death in spring. Like that's why it went down so much. I've been like, yeah. And then it got cold again. But whatever. You know, it's just fabulous. But I get that ozone scent to it. I get that lightness to it. I just want to do this all day because it smells so good. So yeah. So what I'm going to do is I am going to check in about 4 to 5 hours. Now I know some people may go, I like the hour mark. If you want the hour mark, I will do it. You know what? I may just do it. But I just feel like with something like this, there's not as many notes, so it doesn't move as quickly. But I will do a quick check-in because it's kind of my thing. And I'm worried people will go, we miss it. But, you know, there you go. So with that, I will see you back in an hour. Okay, so it has been about an hour, and I know. I'm checking in. It's still glorious. It doesn't really morph that much. And that's why I wasn't going to do the hour check-in, just because I feel like it pretty much stays from when you spray it for the 10-minute mark to where it goes an hour. It stays. Even at the end of the day, it stays. So it may be just this one. I haven't tried the other ones, but it's still that beautiful, almost like ozone aquatic scent on my wrist, which is interesting. I never really thought about it. It was ozone aquatic with light florals, especially that lily of the valley comes out on my chemistry. It's just glorious. And you do get a little bit of that hint of musk underneath. It's like, I don't know if you pull it out so much. It's just kind of like humming underneath, if that makes sense. That hum that never turns off in the refrigerator. That's what that is with that. So you can definitely still get that. And then we'll try it on the clothing. Wow, on the clothing it is so different. It's so interesting what chemistry does versus on paper or on clothing, and that's why I do both, is it really makes a huge difference. It really does. It's mostly floral. Let me try it again, but it's mostly floral. So it's that constant, it's that hum. I do get a little bit of that musk. There is that a little bit of aquaticness to it, or that ozone note, but it's more floral on my shirt. It's most definitely that jasmine and lily of the valley coming through. The musk comes through a little bit more on my chemistry, but then again, my body loves those musk notes. If there's an animal note or a musky note, it's like, hey, boom. There it is. So it's definitely more strong here. I do get the aquatic, but on clothing, I feel like it's more of that floral is the show with a little bit of the ozone. So it's a little bit different, but my gosh, it's nice. And it's still going strong. It's very beautiful. It's very fresh. It remains the same. It's very consistent. Some people don't like that. They don't like the fact that it changes too much. They're like, I just want to keep what it is. That's what this one's doing. It's keeping what it is. It may change a little bit, but for the most part, it stays in the ballpark of how it started out and remains that way. Now I'm going to check back in 4 hours, but I can tell you it's pretty much going to be the same because look at that. This is a fave of mine. I've used it. I want to smell it again. Oh, I'm smelling it everywhere, but I want to smell it again and again. I want to bathe in this stuff. So yes. So I will check back in 4 hours. Okay, so it has been 5 hours. I hope the lighting is okay. It's that time of year where everything's a little bit like, a little touch and go. But this could be really good or really scary. So, either way. But, so yeah, 5 hours. And I can definitely still smell hazy blue, ine, in Korean. It's still there. So, like I said, it never really morphs too much out of what it is. This isn't Zoologist, which if you are a long-time viewer of my channel, which I haven't been there that long, but if you have, I started out with a brand that is very, it changes quite a bit. It's quite dramatic. This is not it. I went the complete opposite route this time to bring in other people who are like, okay, that was great, but let's bring it down a little bit. So the thing is, this is what this is. This is very light. This is very natural. This is very everyday wear. This is something that you could even wear. Some people wear fragrances at night. I kind of do. I'm one of those. So you can spray it on at night, go to bed feeling fresh. This is all day, every day. So it never really gets too far out of this pocket. It's just not like that. It's very light. It's very fresh. It's just very organic. It's just in the atmosphere. It's around you. It's just, that's how it is. That being said, I can definitely still smell it. So let's try it here on the wrist. It's very light. I'm still getting that ozone. That ozone never goes away with this one. Ever. For me, it just always stays. It's just always there. It's just more prevalent on my skin. But I get that lily of the valley. I get that ozone. I get the musk. So I always get, like I said, that humming in the refrigerator. It's that musk. It's there, and it still is. And that's just my skin, the way it works. I never really got the sandalwood. The sandalwood never really came forward for me as much. It's there. It says, but I never really got too much of that. But sandalwood doesn't tend to pull out too much on me. So that could be why. So that may not be the case for you. But it's these lovely, this ozone floral with a little bit of musk. Now let's try it on the shirt. Okay, on the shirt, it's definitely more floral forward. So you get that orange blossom water. You get the lily of the valley with ozone. Ozone, less musk. The musk is very light. I don't even know if you'd really catch it as much unless you have a really strong nose for it. It's very light. Maybe I'm just not getting it here. I'm getting it on my skin. But it's just this beautiful ozone floral scent. It's very light. I want to say that. These are not made to, they're gentle scents. So I've worn this one quite a bit. This one I've worn quite a bit. So I know it quite well, more than the other ones that I use. When I buy things, maybe I'll come back and revisit ones like from Zoologist and other series as I go along to talk about them once I am a little bit more familiar with them on a long term. So with this one, I am at that point. I love this one. But what I will say is if you wear it, for me, when I started wearing it too often, I was wearing it for like a week. For some reason, the ozone scents, I become nose blind to rather quickly. And I don't have this happen too much. Everybody gets nose blind. That's just how life is. No matter what you do, if you wear perfume too often, it's not going to be the same as when you first tried it. It's that type thing. You become nose blind. It's basically to kind of save you from yourself. The problem is it saves you too much when you love a certain perfume. I find with this that what happens over time, at least for me, with the ozone scents, and this one specifically, if I wore it too often, I became nose blind to it. Very interesting. So because of that, I will only wear it like twice a week and mix in other things. And so when I do get to wear it like today, I'm like, you know, it's back and I love it. So I don't know if that'll happen to you, but just be warned that did happen to me. The best way to wear this, even when it was fresh to me, and my nose wasn't nose blind, that usually happened if I wore it 3 days in a row. By the third day, I was like, even if I sprayed on 8 sprays, I couldn't smell it. Very strange. I've never had that happen with the scent before. Did happen with this. Doesn't mean it will with you. But even when I tried this the first time, I feel the best way to keep this one going is to respray every 3-4 hours. I would say every 4 is optimal if you want to keep it fresh. So, you know, lunchtime, you know, go into the bathroom and maybe spritz a little bit on, and you're ready for the rest of the day or until dinner time. And if it's going to be a really late night, you're grabbing dinner, you can spray it on again around whenever time and then take it into the late evening. So, you know, this is one that you're going to want to carry with you. It's a very small bottle, very easy to do, and I have done it. You can see where it's kind of starting to come off at the edge there. It's because I took it around with me because I wasn't willing to let it go. I wanted to smell like this all day. So it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful, fresh, ozone floral scent with a hum of musk and, depending on your chemistry, a little bit of aquatic. I'm excited. I am so excited to try other forgotten words from this beautiful company. And yes, so if I had to give Hazy Blue or Ine, I'm making sure it's Ine, I'm pretty sure I said it over and over, Ine. If I had to rate this, oh, I'm going to give it a 9.5. Now, I say this because I do want to give this one a 10 so badly. I do, but you know, it's hard to do that. It is hard to do that because it really just has to be exquisite. For me, this is exquisite. So maybe do I do it? Do I give my first full 10? I do. I will give this one a 10 because I'm in love with it. I am obsessed with this scent. As soon as I smelled it, I was like, this is for me. Yes, the performance is gentler. I don't care. The brand says that. That's what it is. It's the aesthetic. You know, the company was kind of based off of people used to make their own perfumes with dried flowers and things in Korea. And so it's that very natural, very light, clean scent. So this wasn't meant to be a powerhouse that's going to knock your shoes and socks off. And I am okay with that because if it smells like this, I don't care. I will give it. It's a 10. The first one. First one. So, though it may revisit some other ones, but we're going to talk about that at the end of the year. At the end of the year. So there you go. Yes, that is my first 10 because I love it. I'm obsessed. I will say it again for those in the back row. Obsessed. Obsessed. I am excited to try the rest of these with this. We have 3 more scents in this collection, and then we'll move on to the other 2. So 11 more to go. Yes. So with that, have a wonderful day, my friend. Bye. Before I leave, I forgot I was going to do this. This was something I was going to do new with this series because I would talk about the various animals with the last one. I kind of quit doing it towards the end, but zoologist, but I wanted to do this here. So because we are celebrating Korean culture, even though it's an American Korean brand, we're celebrating the beauty and wonder of Korea. This video is going to be so long, but I'm going to be doing this at the end of all of them. So once the review's done, if you are interested to hear a little bit of cultural note about my experience in Korea, we're going to do this here. So the thing that I want to celebrate this video from when I was visiting Korea as a high point of traveling there I'm going to pick a different thing that I enjoyed every time I was there. And this one I'm going to make simple, because I'm going to make it simple because this is already too long. Of course, the Korean food. If you are not familiar with Korean food, get familiar with Korean food. It is so good. There's so many different types. A lot of the time it's spicy, but not always. One of my favorite things, and I'm going to be doing more cultural points, but this is about the food. The food, the food, the food. It is so delicious. Walk around, try it. The best thing about Korea is the food stalls everywhere. You can walk around, and my favorite food is so basic. Tteokbokki. Tteokbokki has changed my life. And when I was in Korea, I would, every time I was walking in the streets, if I found an ajumma selling it, I would be buying it from her. And they give you a little cup like this, and then a toothpick, and you can eat it while you go, and then you put it in the garbage can later on. I was obsessed. So I would just, oh, ajumma, ajumma, Jogyo. You know, like, if her back was turned, I was trying to get her attention. I'm like, I want some of this. I was obsessed. Tteokbokki is a delicious, chewy rice cake that can be very simple, where it's just spicy sauce on top of it, or maybe not so spicy, because I went to a school. It was like school was letting out. I stood in that line. It was all kids. Guess who swarmed in at the end? I did. And the woman was like, she gave me more. She gave me more because she was like, yeah, this is for school kids, but I wanted it. And she didn't care. No! It's like, so I joined the school kids and I got some tteokbokki because that's how obsessed I am. I tried at least 20 different ones while I was there. And it's really safe. The ajummas make it. They bring it on the street. People will order it or buy it. It happens, and you can eat it. And you get to taste every single different person's recipe because it's their own family recipe. And I would be eating it. Some were so spicy. I was like, oh. And then other ones really mild, like the one outside the school was a little bit more mild. And I love that about Korea. You can't do that in the U.S. They'd be like trying to shut you down. Health code. They didn't care there, and it was okay. I loved it. They have like big stalls where you can get soju or makgeolli and things like that, and you can sit with friends and grab some side dishes more. Or there was, when I first got there the first night, a big tent filled with tons of food, and you just point to what you want, and then you pay as you go, and then when you're done, 감사합니다, and you're out. Masisayo, which means it was delicious, and then you leave. And it was great. So my number one cultural note, if you are in Korea, please try those stalls. Please go out there and enjoy all types of food. Try it all. Do a little research first, though, because it can sometimes be tricky, because every culture has different tastes in food or what they will use within the food. And so sometimes you need to research that, because some of it may surprise you. And keep an open mind. There's a lot of delicious food out there. So yes, tteokbokki. But those food stalls are my number one cultural note that I would recommend if you are traveling to Korea. So with that, for real, have a fabulous day, my friends. Bye.